You ever notice how the world's worst trouble never sends a warning? Sometimes it just barrels through your life, riding high in a white luxury SUV, tearing up your cornfield like it's a parking lot. Folks love to joke online, just use a shotgun, old man. But I never needed one. I had something stronger: patience, paperwork, and 3 rows of lawfully posted spike strips buried beneath my own dirt road. But I'm getting ahead of myself. See, before all this nonsense, my farm was the quietest place in Nebraska. You'd hear the cattle lowing, the wind rolling through the corn, coffee hitting the bottom of my mug on a porch that's older than my knees. 80 acres of peace, my own patch of land, and not a single HOA in sight. No committees, no color-coordinated fines, no neighbor measuring grass with a ruler. Just freedom, just sky, just the sound of the wind across land my dad once called a stubborn man's inheritance. And then, one May morning, about 7:12, all that quiet burned up in a flash of chrome. Started as a hum, low, expensive, not the sound of any farm truck around here. I stood there, coffee in hand, staring at the horizon while the sun climbed up and dew clung to the crops. Then, bam, a white Cadillac Escalade came flying over the ridge, sun glinting off the hood, barreling straight across my corn. Not the road, not the path. She was driving right through my field like she owned the dirt under her tires. Mud fanned out behind her in perfect arcs. The SUV bounced just enough to say, "I don't care what I ruin." And get this, she waved at me. A little pageant wave, like I was supposed to smile and clap as she cut a scar across my crops. Blonde bob, gold sunglasses, looking like she'd never met a hard day. Then she was gone, vanishing toward the Creek View Bluffs gate. I muttered, "Well, I'll be damned." I spent that day convincing myself she was lost, maybe chasing a dog, maybe some emergency. Surely, nobody's that entitled. Next morning, same time, same SUV, same parade wave. Only now, she buzzed the fence so close the steers scattered. I ran out, flagged her down, and she rolled her window halfway, gold sunglasses shining, lips curled like I was an inconvenience. "Ma'am, this is private property. You can't drive through here." She barely smirked. "Relax. It was a community easement. Been here since the 70s. Everybody knows that." "Not on my deed." I told her, calm as a preacher. "No easement. You're trespassing." She laughed. Laughed. "Well, maybe you bought the wrong land and just drove around me like I was a parking cone." I sat back on the porch, coffee cold, disbelief washing through me. By that afternoon, my neighbor Hank came by. Hank's the kind of man you trust with your wallet, your tractor, or your life. A common-sense flag planted right in his chest. He took one look at the tire tracks, shook his head. "That's Creek View for you. Folks there think the world spins around their garage doors." 2 days later, she came again, and again, sometimes twice in one day, engine roaring like she was late to her own coronation. I wasn't raised to fight, but I sure as hell wasn't raised to roll over either. So, I sat down with my lawyer, sharp as a tack, name's Priya. She dug through every property record, every plat, every page. No easement, not even a mention. "Your title's clean. She's trespassing, Nate." And then she told me the most important thing: document everything. So I did. Trail cameras in the trees, every angle covered. I logged times, dates, tire ruts, crushed plants, bent fence wire. Heck, I even started an incident log in a red notebook. Weather, wind direction, how long the cattle were spooked. People might call that obsessive. I call it court-friendly. I took my stack of proof to the sheriff's office. Last time they brushed me off, but now I had evidence stacked high enough to block her road myself. And every morning, she'd roar through like it was a victory lap, honking twice as she left. Then one morning, I found Daisy, my pregnant cow, wild-eyed and panting, fence bent, hoof prints circling in panic. That's when something inside me snapped. This wasn't just about trespassing anymore. She was endangering my animals. That was the last straw. But Priya's warning echoed in my head. Patience wins cases. Anger loses them. So I doubled down. More cameras, more logs, bigger signs, private road. And no, through traffic, trespassers will be reported. Smile, you're on camera. I sent photos and GPS logs to both my lawyer and the sheriff. 3 days later, I found one sign mangled, another on the ground. Caught her on camera, smacking the post with a metal rod and driving on, eyes shining with mischief. Hank watched the footage, grunted. She's either fearless or stupid. Maybe both. And he wasn't wrong. I started to see her not as a nuisance, but as a storm, a destructive force, predictable, impossible to reason with. But I had a plan. If she wanted to keep testing my patience, I'd outlast her. 6 months. That's how long I gathered evidence. Every warning documented, every pass captured. But it became clear, waiting for her to grow a conscience or the sheriff to show up at the right moment was just wishful thinking. If I wanted peace, I had to build it myself. So I researched legal to the letter and found law enforcement. Approved spike strips, not some garage trap. Real, professional, legal when posted with warnings. I ordered them, printed every receipt, documented every step, sent everything to Priya. Her advice? Put up big signs. Notify the sheriff before you install. Let them inspect. Photo everything. I did it all. Friday morning, Deputy Ruiz came out, clipboard in hand, checked the signs, checked the cameras, tested every angle. Anyone who drives through here is making a choice, she said. You did everything right, Nate. The stage was set. Weekend was a storm of waiting. By Monday, I was up at dawn for camera angles open, watching the world wake up. Hank rolled by, yelled, "Think she'll show?" I just smiled. At 7:14, sunlight flashed on chrome. There she was, same speed, same attitude, blowing past every sign, barreling straight for my deterrence. Pop, pop, pop. The front tires went flat, rubber hissing. She lurched, rear tires hit the second strip. Pop, 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 dragging herself forward on bare rims, metal screaming against the dirt. Finally stopped dead center between two warning signs. Karen stormed out, palm smacked her shredded tire, started yelling at the sky. "You gotta be kidding me. You'll pay for my car? All $90,000 of it. You can save that for Deputy Ruiz," I said, and right then, blue lights crested the hill. Karen switched on the drama, claimed I tried to kill her, planted traps, held her hostage. Deputy Ruiz didn't flinch. "You're being cited for criminal trespass, ma'am. Vehicle's a civil issue. Tow's on its way." She tried paying the driver. Car declined. Second try, still declined. Third time finally worked. And there she stood, in the dust and silence, holding a citation and a receipt, nothing left but the reality of consequence. I finally had peace. Not the kind that sneaks in quietly, but the kind you earn, tire by tire, day by day, patient as rain. I laughed, not out of joy, but at the ridiculousness of it all. If Karen had spent half the effort following rules that she did breaking them, she'd be mayor by now. A week later, rumors swept town. Turns out Karen had been paying her lawyer with HOA money, thousands missing from a budget. That was the twist I never saw coming. Suddenly, HOA held an emergency meeting, neighbors buzzing like hornets. Her name, and Richard's, got dragged through the mud, right alongside their reputation. Court day came. Karen looked smaller than I remembered. No sunglasses, no smug tilt, just a pale face and a tired lawyer. The judge, a silver-haired woman who could silence a room with an eyebrow, listened to every word, every photo, every second of video. My patience laid out there on the bench, evidence that didn't lie. When the gavel fell, Karen was found guilty, criminal trespass, property destruction, livestock endangerment. Fined, ordered to pay restitution, banned from any HOA office for 5 years. Her voice, once so loud, was a shaky whisper. Her neighbors, once silent, now wanted her gone. By the time summer rolled in, the Whitfields had moved out. No more Escalade, no more entitlement, just the soft hush of wind and cattle, and a gravel road that belonged to me again. Funny thing about justice, it's not always loud, not always fast. Sometimes it's the slow, steady work of not letting anger win. My father used to say, "The strongest man ain't the one who hits first, it's the one who knows when not to." This time, I finally understood. Now, when I walk that fence line, grass growing where chaos once reigned, I know People like Karen don't break because of spike strips. They break when the world finally stops enabling them. That's what I learned. You have to defend your line, not with rage, not with force, but with the kind of patience that says enough. Because in the end, the truth, backed by proof, is stronger than noise. So let me ask you, where do you draw your line? When's the last time you stood up for what's yours? Not with anger, but with calm determination. Drop your story in the comments below, because somewhere out there, someone's fighting their own battle, and maybe your story's the nudge they need. And if you want to hear more tales of justice and karma, well, you know what to do.